folks, this is Ollie here at Visordown, and here you see before me three brand new bikes, three brilliant world premieres. Three of the sort of biggest bikes are going to be launched this year. Real treats. This is obviously the Triumph Street Triple, the R, the RS, and this particularly special one, the Moto2 Special Edition. We'll get down to nitty gritty of all three, but these should be out between around February time. And we'll go through the finer sort of details shortly, but I'm joined by Stuart Wood, Chief Engineer, the brains behind getting these bikes onto the road. So welcome, Stuart, thank you.
Hi.
Firstly, let's actually run through what we've got in front of us here. Let's start with an overview of what we've got here from a technical perspective.
Well, basically, Ollie, we've got three completely new bikes. We've got major updates to performance, engine performance, to agility and handling, technology and specification, and obviously the style and the poise of the bikes as well. So, starting with the R, you've got a road-focused, very serious sports naked motorcycle, which is very much what you'd expect from a street triple. This is the evolution of the street triple. So, increase in performance over previous model, 120 PS. Previous model would have been 118. So it's a nice step, but a load more technology.
Now, starting with the R, I mean, it's saying 120 horsepower. That is up a fair bit from the previous one. It's actually around roughly what the RS is right now, which kind of represents kind of the step up each one is making. So if you get the new R, you're getting an RS almost basically now, and then the RS has moved up to 130 brake horsepower, which makes it the most powerful in its class. So it's not easy to make something a bit more powerful. It's a very proven engine, and we've had it around for a long time. So, what's kind of the motivation behind trying to sort of, how difficult is it to take that step, and what are the sort of challenges you get from that?
Okay, well, as you know, we're supplying the engines for Moto2 series, and that's a really great opportunity. Obviously, we get to showcase just how good these motors are, but we've evolved as well. We're using our Moto2 learning on performance to bring to the road bikes. And obviously we've taken all of our durability and reliability to Moto2. If you think how many seasons we've had now in Moto2, 19 race weekends, 32 bikes, and total reliability, it's a really nice balance that we can benefit in Moto2 from the road bikes and then get the performance into these bikes. So we know exactly what we want to do when we increase the performance.
Now, a lot has changed from a Triumph perspective since the previous generation, or current generation, Street Triple came out. I see you're wearing a t-shirt, your shirt there that says Triumph Racing. There is definitely more of a motorsport focus than there was then. You mentioned the Moto2 engines. You're racing in World Supersport, then British Supersport, and you're going to be doing motocross as well soon. So Triumph are really sort of getting into motorsport. So since then, the Moto2, that is a big influence, which does bring me very nicely onto this. I'm sure you hadn't missed it, in this striking day-glow kind of livery. Fantastic, very, very, very smart. This is a limited edition Moto2, so remember the Daytona Moto2 version. This is the Street Triple effectively as well. So you're going to get your skates on because this won't be around for long. Just swinging back to Moto2, you've had it for a few years, and you mentioned total reliability. The riders are head over heels in love with this particular engine. So going back the other way, what lessons from that have you applied to this bike and all three bikes actually? Okay,
well, again, it's the actual detail of how we make power. Obviously, this is power for the road, which is basically we have to comply with legislation as well as just making power. So we have to be able to produce that power and then control it in terms of noise and emissions and everything else. Now, what we've done with this engine, 130 PS, as you said, 7 PS increase over the previous model. We've improved the airflow through the engine. We've got new intake trumpets. We've got a freer flowing exhaust system. We've got higher compression ratio. We've got new pistons, new combustion chamber, fully machined combustion chambers, higher combustion pressures. We are making more power, making more torque. We make more power, and basically giving a fabulous sort of response, sound and performance all together.
Now, this is not just an RS in a fancy new colours. There are upgrades, and actually all three have gained quite a lot of aerodynamic upgrades, which you can see at the side here. But particularly with this one, this is your baby. So I'd like to just tell me exactly why you should go to the effort of getting one of these limited edition babies over one of the other two.
Okay, well, it's really focused. Okay, so the R, we've got road focus, really serious sports bike for the road. The RS, where you've got a lot more track focus. So in terms of the geometry and the suspension and braking components, they're higher spec, it's higher performance. When you go to the Moto2, we go even further. We've got full Öhlins suspension front and rear. The RS has an Öhlins rear suspension unit with Showa forks, but full Öhlins front and rear. We've got Stylema brake calipers, which is the same as the RS, so we've got the focus, but there is a difference in setup. So the bike has got an even steeper headstock angle. So we've got three completely different geometry setups for the bikes, but the Moto2 limited edition takes you to a 23-degree headstock angle. It takes you to 95 millimeters of trail, very precise, very agile, shorter wheelbase. We're on a 1397 wheelbase, very, very focused. Add to that the ergonomics. When you take the Roadsters, you've got a Roadster riding position. On these bikes, to add agility, we've made the bars 12 millimeters wider. Huge difference on the Moto2 bike, where the handlebars are 80 millimeters lower and 50 millimeters further forward. Clip-on bars, machined billet top yoke and bar clamps, absolutely glorious to look at, but also all focused around ergonomics. Again, to get a more engaging ride, better track performance.
Now, in Moto2, various lap records, as I mentioned there, the reliability has been fantastic. You know, MotoGP, you can't go out and get a Ducati GP22, and you can't necessarily get a Kalex chassis, for instance, Moto2, but, you know, this is probably about as close as you can get to a proper Grand Prix, proper honed racing machine, this particular model, is that right?
Yeah, absolutely. If you chose either the RS or the Moto2 limited edition, you could put a fairing on it for racing. Mm-hmm. You could go racing. This is racing class is allowing this now, and this is what the bikes do. Okay, they're absolutely competitive. They're right there at the front of that of the racing now, midweight racing category. In terms of Moto2, yes, this is the closest experience you're going to get to a Moto2 bike on the road.
Now, but across we haven't touched on the styling. You can see it here. I must tell you, actually, we had a look at it yesterday online before you guys get to see it, and there are some notable changes. Seeing it in person, on the other hand, there is a lot more going on. It's definitely something you need to see in person. It is quite an evolutionary styling update, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. So, can you spot out some of the changes, whether minor or not?
Okay.
Just point out for me.
Okay, well, what we're looking to do is to create, from the stance of the bike, more aggression, more poise, more attitude, okay? So the tank is higher, the bike looks rotated forward. It is, because the back end of the bike is lifted from a handling perspective. We've lifted the back of the bike to improve and to steepen the steering geometry. So we're looking at fuel tank, side panels, mud guards, the front around the headlight area, all new exhaust system, new belly pan as well. So a lot of change there. When you get to the Moto2, you're including multiple carbon fiber panels as well. So it's not just shapes, it's finish, and obviously you add to that the colours, and the bikes really come alive.
Now, you can't see it from here, but hopefully it'll be edited to show on this. We've got a fantastic yoke here with the numbers. So this is 0 of 765. It's particularly special here. So some really nice touches on a lot of these, and you do have to kind of get up close to kind of really appreciate it. Now for the important bit, the money you're going to have to sort of part with to get one now. Good news, really. I mean, we've got some fantastic upgraded spec on both the R and the RS. And I've said previously that the R is essentially kind of the current RS in terms of spec and power. Good news is, price hasn't changed much from what it is at the moment. We've got the R and the RS, a couple of £100 more than they are currently. I'll refer to my sheet this time for it. It will start at £9,595 for the R. The RS at £11,295. This one, now this is going to be 765 units of this particular colour. And then we've also got white, a couple of things. It's actually the white and strips of this particular colour. There's another 765 for that. So this is coming in at £13,795. Now I've been told that when they're gone, they're gone. So if you are interested, I would recommend getting down and getting a deposit down pretty damn fast. But if you don't get one, the RS is not too far off, but enough, but it's still a fantastic premium model. So, do your sales pitch. Tell me why you should buy one of these rather than a Kawasaki Z900.
This is a completely, this bike is considered as a performance motorcycle from every aspect at the same time. So we're looking at engine performance, we're looking at chassis performance, so agility, grip, braking, acceleration. The bikes are intuitive to ride. The feel and the precision is exceptional. Throttle response and power is also exceptional. It all comes together to make them a beautiful ride. Add to that the looks, the technology, optimized corner and ABS and traction control on all the models, up and down quick shifters as standard on all the models. The looks, the attitude, the stance, colours, it's all there. We've got everything.
Now, of course, you would say that. You work for Triumph, so everything's fantastic, obviously. But we're going to get our opinion. We'll get our opinion, our impartial opinion. So we're hopefully going to get one of these in February, I understand. Throw our leg over one of these and find out exactly how good the Street Triple is and if it can live up to these high expectations. So until then, keep it locked to Visordown. We'll be putting plenty out about this, all the information you could possibly need to whet your appetite. But until then, Stuart, thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's enough from us.